For 9 months, I promised you one thing. For 9 months, I told you one thing again and again and again. And last year at Final Battle, I may have lost it all. But this year, with the kingdom by my side, I proved that I haven't lost a step. Truly, vindication.
And we told you, nitwits, that we do this thing called whatever we want. And at Final Battle, we did just that. And we made history in Ring of Honor.
See, my man Vinny's right. We made Ring of Honor history at Final Battle. But this story of the kingdom, it goes so much deeper than that. My man Matt Taven here, his story is the greatest redemption story in the history of pro wrestling. But like any good kingdom, we're not satisfied with one landmark victory.
No.
We're not satisfied with one major win. No. The kingdom, we are out for total eradication.
Bullet Club.
Melvins.
Rebellion.
Melvins. Even Alex Shelley and his merry band of Melvins, it does not matter. If it's Japan, Mexico, right here, we'll go anywhere in the world and defend these titles. Because we are the first ever Ring of Honor 6-man tag champions. And I guarantee you, we will be the last. No one will beat the kingdom. Tell them, boys, thy kingdom come.
Joining us is 1/3 of the first time ever Ring of Honor tag team, 6-man tag team champions, Vinny Marseglia. Now, Vinny, we spoke a few months ago, and talk about anything that can happen in the world of pro wrestling. In just a few short months, you are now 1/3 of the first ever Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. How does it feel to be a part of that?
It feels awesome. That moment at Final Battle, we made history in Ring of Honor. We became the first ever world 6-man tag team champions in Ring of Honor, which will never change. So that's an awesome achievement, especially to myself. It's been a long road just to get on the Ring of Honor roster. I've had couple shots with them throughout the years. Myself versus Jay Lethal for the Ring of Honor World title at one point. Been in the ring with David Richards. I'm super happy, and I'm even more happy that I'm able to do it with my two best friends in that game. So yeah, man, that was a really awesome. And speaking of the Final Battle, back in 2007. Not 2007, up in the Hammerstein Ballroom, and so this year wrestling in that building and becoming the first ever Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champion, it's pretty awesome to me.
Definitely.
So, yeah, it's awesome.
Sure. Now, could you take us back a little bit about how the group was reformed and maybe how Matt asked you, or when he asked you about or told you about, hey, he wants to add you guys into the kingdom. What went through your mind, or maybe take us back to that moment?
Sure. As far as the kingdom goes, it's kind of weird. Matt he wanted me to be part of the kingdom for a while before he had come back, and I was always kind of part of that group. Myself. Taven, Bennett, Maria. TK came later because he's only 2 years in, so he's a little later than us. But we knew that TK was exactly like we were, so that's why he came aboard. But I had always been traveling with Taven. Me and Taven trained together. He's a year ahead of me. We came from the same wrestling school. We wrestled a bunch of times together. We traveled everywhere together. Back home before he started traveling the world with Michael Bennett. But even Michael Bennett, before he was doing that, we all come from the same area. So that little crew and clique of people were always friends, close friends. I was just always traveling. I just wasn't the guy on television at the time. So when the opportunity finally came and I got called to be a part of Ring of Honor and the Kingdom. It was super exciting, and it was very exciting just because I knew how natural everything was going to be, because we're all very close friends. So, what's better than that? Everything that you see the Kingdom doing or has done is us. It's very natural. There's nothing goofy or corny or anything about it. It's very real. It's very, very Vinny Marseglia, TK, and Matt Taven. It's who we are. So it's exciting. It's exciting. I'm excited to see what 2017 brings, where we're going to go, because I would love to travel the world if I can. So that's definitely a big goal of mine for myself. So, yeah, it's exciting.
Sure. And now for the first ever champs, I mean, usually a lot of guys hold the championship, that's been held by numerous names through the years. But being able to say that you guys are the first, how does that sit with you? Because, I'm just thinking about it from me on the outside, to where, okay, you won this championship that so-and-so held, and this guy held, and that guy held. But now just being able to say, hey, man, when people look back at it in the history, they'll be like, well, who are the first champs of this? And, your name will pop up as being one of the guys that held this championship. How does that sit with you, though?
I'm all for it. There's nothing, like I said, there's nothing cooler than saying, I'm the first ever Ring of Honor six-man tag champ. And like I said, there's nothing that can change that, so that's the cool part about it. Like you said, whatever you look up in the history books, it's always going to say, first ever Ring of Honor World Six-Man Tag Champ, Vinny Marseglia, Matt Taven, TK O'Ryan. So that'll never change. So, yeah, it's cool. I mean, I dig it. I'm pretty sure anybody else that would be in the same situation would dig it. So I think it's great.
Sure. All right. Now, being a part of the Kingdom now, does that also give you like a new sense of energy in your career? Being a part of one of the greatest stables of 2016, it's not necessarily that you reinvented yourself, but now just being able to be in the stable, it has to be some kind of, some energy being able to,
it's motivating. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's motivating. It is. I mean, because this is a new chapter in my career. And it's funny you mentioned to reinvent myself, but I did, and that was a time when I took time off of wrestling, took a year off, had my daughter, whatever. I actually did. What I did was really not so much reinvent myself as much as I found myself. I was able to take time away from wrestling, where I've been doing it for so long that you're always in this character mode, or think you have to be something that you're not. And it's just taking that time off and then realizing wait a minute, this is who I am. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the whole insanity thing, the whole I do this thing called whatever I want thing, that's who I am. You know what I mean? You can ask my wife, my family, I'm a very by the day kind of guy, and just if there's a problem, don't care. Whatever, I'll do whatever I want. You know what I mean? So it's I'm very that way as a person. So, so I did reinvent myself. I found who I was. You know what I mean? And that takes time for any human that goes through life. You got to go through life experiences to find who you are as a person. So,
sure. Mm-hmm.
And the whole Kingdom thing is just very motivating, because now this is a new chapter in my career. That I'm looking forward to more than anything I've ever done in wrestling, So I'm really happy with the timing. It was great timing, because I was working really hard. I went down to that last tryout that Ring of Honor had right, months before, a year before, and did well. I was very motivated for something to happen for me, because I kind of had there was a fire under my ass at this point, if you will, for me to kind of get me scooting. But yeah, and then once the Kingdom thing took place, now I'm more motivated than ever. So, I'm excited to see what happens for us in 2017. To me, it feels that everything's going really well. with us right now, and like all three of us are very excited, because we're, at first you don't know how, things are going to go or how people are going to take it, but like I said, because we're very natural, we are who we are. I think that's, it is what it is. So people are either going to like it or they're not going to like it.
Yep.
We don't care either way, but everything's going really well. So it's definitely very motivating to have this new chapter in my career and the whole thing with the Kingdom. Very fun for all three of us, because we're close friends. We're the closest friends we have in wrestling. So what's better than traveling the world with your closest friend and being champions while doing it? That's
exactly.
awesome, isn't it?
Yep.
So,
Now,
it's motivating.
Sure. Now, well, speaking of that, there are three of you. Could you tell everyone out there, maybe perhaps, are there different qualities of each of you that make the team work so well, or maybe the similarities that make the team work so well?
Well, it's funny because like we're all the same and different at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like our personalities are very similar, and our sense of humor is very similar. You got TK, who's the ex-Division I baseball player, who's just like a total head-to-toe athlete, you know what I mean? And he's the younger of the three. So TK's very motivated. And then Taven, who's, of course, the leader of the Kingdom, who has more experience than the both of us. So he kind of leads the way. And I'm, of course, the nutty of the three, I guess you could say, just by the looks of it, too. I'm more of the crazier of the three. I just do whatever.
Sure.
So I just kind of like... I just kind of go with the flow. But it's funny because like we're all very different, but all very similar. So it's just perfect. It's you know what I mean.
Perfect storm.
But
right?
that's why we're friends. You know what I mean.
Sure.
That's why we're friends. You know what I mean. Like we're real friends. Like they come over and visit my daughter. We have holidays together. Whatever it is. So we're very much alike, but also very different. So it's very cool.
Great. Now, I know as we close 2016 and look ahead in 2017, maybe any predictions or thoughts of what's to come for the Kingdom?
Oh, I have no idea, but I can tell you this. We're going to make sure it's good. That's all I can say. We're going to make sure it's good, because it's been good this far, and we're going to do whatever we can to keep upping our game and outdoing ourselves. We already outdo everyone else. We're gonna outdo ourselves in 2017. But no, seriously, I'm hoping it's just as good as 2016's been for us.
Definitely.
But only time can tell. Wrestling's so unpredictable, so you never know. So we can only hope for the best.
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, Vinny Marseglia, 1/3 of the Kingdom, 1/3 of the first ever Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. Thanks so much for joining us. Where can people listening out there keep up with you on social media?
All right, cool. We got my Facebook page, which is Inc. Sanity Vinny Marseglia. It's a like page, so you can find me there on the Facebook. Or Twitter, which is, I just changed my Twitter handle. It is now at InkSanityVM. Very easy. And my Instagram is the same thing.
All right. Well, Vinny, thank you so much for joining us. We wish you nothing but the best, and we'll see you in 2017.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thanks so much.
Joining us today, TK O'Ryan. Now, TKO, you were a name that took the Northeast by storm this year. You became the XWA champion for a second time. You became the Northeast Wrestling champion for the first time. And you were 1/3 of the Kingdom, becoming Ring of Honor's first ever six-man tag team champions. It's fair to say that 2016 was the year of TKO, right?
Yeah, man, the year of the horse, baby. It was... It was crazy because 2016 was so back heavy for me. The first, honestly, 3/4 of the year or whatever it was, 2/3, whatever, was it was kind of more of the same that it had been. I was wrestling at places I've been at before, a couple new places here and there, but Once the Ring of Honor deal happened and the Kingdom debuted, I mean, everything just kind of kicked into another gear for me. So I really couldn't have asked for a better way to end the year. It gives me a lot of momentum going into 2017.
Definitely. I personally haven't experienced your time in XWA, but I've witnessed you in Northeast Wrestling, and from an outsider looking in, the fans have always loved you from day one. But could you take us back a few weeks ago when you became the new Northeast Wrestling Heavyweight Champion? What was it like for you to achieve that, especially in Bethlehem, Connecticut, where the fans, are just amazing as always?
Oh man, it meant the world to me. The Northeast Wrestling Championship is something that's going to be very near and dear to my heart for the rest of my life because, I really came up through Northeast Wrestling in the sense that I came in as a complete nobody. I mean, the true story is I was selling T-shirts at the shows watching Matt Taven wrestle. I was there the night he won the Northeast Wrestling Championship from Brian Anthony, in fact. And in the ensuing year or two that came after, it was honestly kind of an honor to win those fans over and to build a connection with the people in Bethany and really all the Northeast Wrestling fans in general. And ultimately, when I won the Northeast Wrestling Championship, it was vindication and it felt rewarding, and it really did feel like I did it in front of the people that know me best.
Definitely. Now, like you said earlier too, you got signed to Ring of Honor this year, helping reform the Kingdom with Matt Taven and Vinny Marseglia. Could you peel back the curtain just a little bit and tell us maybe how Matt came to you about the idea of reforming the Kingdom with him?
Honestly, I've said for a little while now, like that I've kind of forced my way up to Ring of Honor because a series of right place, right time, and right guy. Ultimately, what kind of got the ball rolling for me was I became really good friends with Vinny Marseglia through we have our trainer is a mutual trainer, by the name of O'Ryan and I met him. We wrestled a whole bunch, became good friends. Next thing you know, we're traveling all over the place. Right around this time, Taven gets hurt. Taven's down, and he still wanted to be involved and go be at these shows. And we all ended up in the same party together because Vinny and Matt have been friends for years. And we all just kind of found that we had a common bond and a link. We were very much in the same mindset. Flash forward some time later, and new Kingdom, man.
It was the year that the gifts kept on giving to you guys. You also, like you said too, you captured the Ring of Honor, the first time ever 6-man tag team champions. What was it like? What was that moment like for you? Being basically a big name in the Northeast, joining Ring of Honor, and then just being able to win those championships the first time ever this year.
Honestly, man, it was kind of hard to process, and it's something I'm still thinking about right now. And the reason is because it all happened so fast, and it all just seemed to kind of come out of nowhere. Ultimately, at Final Battle, I was, 3 matches in at Ring of Honor, and here I am winning not just the championship there, but the very first champion that they're ever going to have in the company with this title. And the whole thing was a bit difficult to process because I wasn't really sure how I was supposed to feel. Ultimately, at this point, it's really just made me feel confident. It made me feel like I do know what I'm doing and that, more good things are on the horizon. And, as a sidebar too, man, the best part about it was being able to win it with Matt and Dick. I mean, those guys are my 2 best friends in wrestling, and, they're brothers to me. So to be able to share that with them, I mean, what else could I have asked for?
Exactly, yeah. And, well, I think it's going to be hard to top 2016, but do you have any predictions for 2017, what the fans could expect?
Man, big things. 2017, I'm really, really, really looking forward to. I mean, already got a bunch of stuff planned with Ring of Honor, and obviously, being a champion with them and having the opportunity to defend those titles. It's going to lead to some pretty interesting matches and some pretty interesting scenarios down the road. Obviously, with Northeast, a whole new chapter. 2017 starts the era of TK O'Ryan. It's not the era of me chasing Brian Anthony or Matt Taven or anybody else. Now it's my title to lose. So it's something totally different, a whole new perspective. And as far as XWA goes, man, people don't like the state of Rhode Island, and I'm going to make sure that 2017 that I give them even more of a reason.
Well, TK O'Ryan, man, we wish you nothing but the best in 2017. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hey, man, thanks for having me. Hey, make sure you guys are following me on Twitter at WildHorseTKO. I need to get up my followers so I can get a pro wrestling tee store and get you guys the best merch around.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man.
Hey, man, thanks again.
Right now, Matt Taven, 1/3 of the Kingdom.
Hello.
How's it going, man? Thanks for joining us. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you as well. Thank you for having me.
Now, Matt, 2016 has had a lot of ups and downs for you. Let's start with the downs. I mean, at the end of 2015, you suffered a major knee injury at Final Battle while executing a spike pile driver to the floor. You were diagnosed with a torn ACL, a ruptured lateral meniscus. And it's almost been 1 year to the date since you had that surgery. Take us back 1 year ago. I mean, how scary was it? Because as a superstar, I mean, you get injured. It's, am I done? Am I not done? How long is it going to be till I get back in the ring? I mean, what was going through your head?
I mean, it seems so long ago now. Now I was actually just thinking about this today, about how I'm coming up on a year on surgery and, over Christmas time, seeing family members, and they were like, a year ago, did you even know you had torn your ACL? Because actually I didn't. Wow, Christmas last year, now that I remember it, I wasn't even sure if I had torn my ACL yet. So, it's been such a crazy ride that when people are talking about 2016, the year it was, I have nothing but an instant positive thought, but that's because I only really think of 2016 from September till now. And the first 9 months of it was such a blur. It just seemed like it was it was another lifetime, another universe. Because it was like you took everything that you knew and everything that was going on around you, and you just plucked yourself right out of it. And everything that was normal about life just completely changed overnight. So the night that it happened, obviously it was Final Battle. It was on pay-per-view. We had just gotten back from Japan. We were on, when 2015 was a hell of a ride for me and Mike together. And, we were going into Final Battle with this mindset of let's go out there and just kill it. Philadelphia is always a great place. We've had some great matches in Philly previously in that same building. And, the beginning of the match, I actually dived to the outside and take a tumble right over my head, and the adrenaline was just kicking so much that that didn't even feel like anything. I just rolled right up to my feet, and I was feeling like I was just rolling that night. My momentum nothing was going to stop me. I was just on this roll that no one could kind of break. And instantly when I hit the floor, when we were doing the Hail Mary, the spike pile driver on the outside, I knew something had happened. Now, I'm still not sure to this day if my foot landed partly on the padding and partly on the concrete, if that kind of threw me off. When I go back and watch it, you can see both knees kind of buckle, one knee more than the other. They kind of go side to side. Mm-hmm. And when I popped up to my feet, I just thought I tweaked my knee. I wasn't sure. I knew I could still move and I could bend my legs. So I was like, all right, well, nothing really major must have happened, but of course I torn my ACL at that moment. And then continuing the match, with no ACL and kind of no support, I had strained my MCL and PCL and LCL as well, so they were all very loose. And then trying to do a spin kick, it just, those two bones rubbed together and nothing holding it tight, and it ruptured one meniscus and tore the other one. And that's when I definitely knew that something was terribly wrong.
Sure.
But, as I lied there on the ground, it's as terrifying as you could imagine, because you just don't know what's going to happen next. Obviously you have the foresight of what you want to do tomorrow, but in a moment like that, there is no tomorrow. There's nothing but uncertainty. So, the days after that were, I was convinced that nothing major had happened. I mean, I even took, I'm in the ring and get super kicked by the Young Bucks the following day, and to know what I know now about my leg, and that I did actually have a break in my leg, but I could have just snapped my leg right in half being in the ring doing that. It's kind of, I look back and think that was stupid, but I was so sure that I was okay, and to get the news, a couple weeks later or a week and a half later or so, it must have been after New Year's, or maybe I think it was right before, actually. So to get the news around exactly this time last year, it was just shocking, because you go from thinking, oh, this is just a sprained knee, I'll be back in a month or two, to all of a sudden, the first doctor that I saw said it would be up to 2 years because of the meniscus that they had to do a surgery just to get it out the back of my leg. So we thought with the recovery of that, and then the ACL, and taking on the patella tendon or hamstring, whatever I had chosen, it would be a while before I'd be back in the ring. But thank God I found the right people and the right system to do my rehab with, and before you knew it, I was in Arena, Mexico.
Well, hey, what I was going to say, too, is you were initially set to have 2 separate surgeries, but your doctor, Dr. Andreas Gamal, was able to perform both of them within 4.5 hours. He also stated that he's never seen a meniscus rupture this bad in his medical career. It was totally befuddling to him that you were able to continue the match.
Yeah, I mean, man, and it's all about who you know in life, I guess, because my aunt, who is one of the head nurses at one of the major Boston hospitals, knew Dr. Gamal and knew that he was the guy to go to for sports injury like this. And like I said, the first doctor that I saw, and then I saw another doctor, and finally when I got into Dr. Gamal's office, I kind of knew instantly, just by his calm, that he knew what he was doing. Later, he would tell me, like, yeah, I took that, video of your meniscus rupturing, and I brought it down to a conference in Orlando, because I was just so amazed at how bad it was. I was like, well, you didn't tell me that when I first signed up to have surgery, because he just, he could see that, I think he could see from me that I was determined to get back. And, he's very confident in what he does, and is, brought a lot of athletes back to what they love to do, and in the right hands, I was determined to cut that original 2-year timeline down as much as possible.
Sure. Now turning to the Alps of 2016. I mean, you made your return in September to wrestling in Mexico for CMLL. What was it like to wrestle again after being out almost a year and wrestling in Mexico, nonetheless?
It's it's such a whirlwind, because like I said before, when you get hurt and your life just changes, well, all of a sudden you find yourself jumping right back into the deep end, nonetheless. Debuting in Arena, Mexico, which is a place that guys that I've looked up to my entire life where I've wrestled at, debuting for CMLL, and just not only not having that regular familiarity with being with the same guys in the locker room or traveling with the same people. I was all by myself in Mexico, just kind of like, here we go. And it's always kind of a way that I've loved to live my life, is just kind of spontaneous and taking advantage of whatever life offers me. And when the opportunity came to wrestle in Arena, Mexico, I was planning on not coming back till October at that point. And I was doing my rehab at the Brigham and Women's at Gillette Stadium. And, those guys down there obviously have seen a bunch of athletes as well. And when I first got asked, I kind of said yes before even talking to my PT or my surgeon, just because I knew that I could do it. And I knew that I could come back even the extra month early, and I wasn't going to let an opportunity to check off one of those boxes on your goal list to live a dream that you've had for as long as you can remember. To let those opportunities go, I couldn't live with myself if if I said, oh, I guess I'll play it easy or take the safe route and just wait the extra month. And I said yes, and then told my PT, and he was kind of like, all right, well, looks like we got some work to do. And for that last couple of months, those last 2 months after I agreed to come back early, it was just putting in the time and icing and resting and going back to work. And it's for an athlete, I think it's kind of second nature once you get hurt to put that effort and time into it, because you put all your effort and time into your sport in the first place. Mm-hmm. And then when it's taken away from you, you have all this extra you almost don't know what to do with yourself, because your life has changed, and so you're determined to get back to that life. And also, with all that free time you have, well, now you can put it into rehab, and if you really want it, you can go out and take it. And I wanted to go back to Mexico, or to go to Mexico for the first time, and nothing at that point was going to stop me. Once I got down there, it was just such an unbelievable experience. I mean, Arena Mexico, the crowd, the people there are so passionate. Outside is it's just like a wrestling party that everyone's invited to. People are buying masks, people are selling food, everyone's throwing around programs. It's exactly what you always wanted it to be when you thought of that Mexican wrestling experience. And I couldn't be happier that I said yes and ended up getting down there.
Great. Now, with the timing that you were off, Mike Bennett and Maria, they made their way into TNA, basically disbanding the Kingdom, but you took the ball and you brought in TK O'Ryan and Vinny Marseglia, forming the new Kingdom, if you will. When you knew you had to reform the Kingdom, how did you know that TKO and Vinny were the perfect fit for it?
Well, there's nothing new about it. It's the Kingdom. Anything new sucks, so it's the Kingdom. And Mike Bennett and Maria Kanellis will always be a part of it. I mean, they might be working somewhere else, but they'll always be a part of this Kingdom. And from the very first day Mike was in TNA, he threw that 4 sign up. He threw the 4 fingers up right in front of the camera, and he let everyone know that things might have changed, but they'll never change. And in the honor of both of us, obviously I had a decision to make, and I wanted to stay with Ring of Honor and continue the Kingdom that had been going down the line. And when I was going to rebuild into my own image, I went right to the people that mean the most to me. Vinny, I've known since I started in wrestling. I mean, we trained together under Spike Dudley. Vinny, appeared sporadically in Ring of Honor. I just always thought he never got the opportunity that he truly deserved to shine. And I mean, you watch Final Battle this past year, you can see why Vinny always deserved that spot here in Ring of Honor. And TK O'Ryan, he's the future. You got to look to what's the next crop bring you. And from the same school that we came from, me and Vinny, we knew TK coming up, former Division I baseball star. The guy's a blue chip athlete, and in the couple of years he's been in wrestling, he's proved that he's not only the future, but he's the present as well. Like he's the real deal, and he's just it's just the tip of the iceberg on the career of TK O'Ryan. We have so much more to see from him. So these two guys in general, we were on the road together with Mike. It would be the 4 of us traveling around as it was, and it was kind of an easy decision when I went down to Mexico. I saw the trios down there. I knew what was going on in Ring of Honor with the 6-man belts. I knew where I wanted to go as far as the Kingdom, and we slid right into that tournament spot. And I knew that even before this tournament game that I picked the right guys, but this tournament was the perfect showcase to show everyone that this is a crew to not mess with.
Definitely. Now, it was such a crazy year for being on the shelf for most of it, returning, reforming the Kingdom, and now becoming the first ever Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. Did you think, 1 year ago, that 1 year later you'd be winning these championships?
Well, absolutely not. I mean, 1 year ago at Final Battle, I didn't know if I'd ever wrestle again. And to be back a year later, and to be the first ever Ring of Honor six-man tag champions, there's a picture of me just kind of looking up at the belt and looking at the people in the Manhattan Center that night. And it's funny because, like, I look at it and it just makes me laugh because I'm thinking about what I'm thinking about. And I know, like, in that very moment, I'm just telling myself, like, this whole life thing's crazy. I mean, look at where you are in 1 year after blowing your knee out. Like, it's just, I couldn't have wrote a better story for myself. And it's something that's just going to continue to be built on, continue to build up until, until the day I'm finally done, which is not a long, long time away. Or is a long, long time away, but all these stepping stones, all these milestones, you got to sit back every once in a while and kind of, smell the flowers and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And in that moment, in that picture, I can see the happiness on my face that not only worked so hard to be back, but to be back in this spot and to be back with my buddies around me. And it's, you can't write a better story than that.
Definitely. And now, with 2016 said and done, what can the fans expect from you in 2017? Any outlook you can give them?
Well, 2017, and I was just about to put on Twitter today, anyone that says this year is my year is a Melvin, because every year you hear someone, 2017 is the year of this, 2017 is the year of that. 2017 is going to be exactly like any time I'm in the ring in the past before it, because I've just continued to succeed year after year after year. The top prospect tournament winner, television champion, IWGP tag champion, Ring of Honor tag champion, six-man tag champion. And I'm just going to keep doing what I do best, which is win. And I have on my checklist going back to Japan, going back to Mexico, and that Ring of Honor world title and being the first ever Grand Slam champion in Ring of Honor.
There we go. Well, Matt Taven, Happy New Year. Where can the fans keep up with you on social media?
If you know how to spell Taven, which is Taven, you can find me on any social media platform. Facebook.com/Matt Taven. At Twitter, it's @Matt Taven. Instagram is the Matt Taven, because some Melvin took Matt Taven and I don't know what he does with it, but the Matt Taven, you'll find me on Instagram. Gmail, it's Matt Taven. If you're looking for merchandise, Pro Wrestling Tees, Matt Taven. Go out there and just Google Matt Taven. All my stuff should pop up, and enjoy.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again, Matt. We really appreciate it.
No, thank you, my man. Anytime.